Welcome back, guys, to MC Military Force. This is Arsenal update number 20. Yeah, this is the Arsenal world. If you guys want to download it, I have a world download for Java and Bedrock on my Patreon, and that helps support the channel. And huge thanks to all the people who are subscribed on my Patreon, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to do this. So first we're going to get started on this tank. It is the Hedgehog Tank. And it's kind of in a weird spot because I don't really have enough room. Maybe I'll move it later because it's not a T-62 or T-64. It's a T-80BVM. And the Russians, they just put all these, anti-drone cage armor on the side. It's really Mad Max style. It looks like a hairy ball. And it also does have a mine plow in the front, which is a TMT-K mine trawl. So put that in the front. Yeah, some parts of it are rusting, so yeah, it's brown. It also does have a drone jammer right here at the top. And another one here in the back, like a little pole. And they also have chains like dragging down on the ground. And I just put it here because it's going to be next to the turtle tank. Alright, so if you go here on the side, I did add in this new anti-drone net road, which is really common to see in Ukraine. Here we got some Scooby-Doo vans, the UAZ. Is it for something? And I just have like these chains going across. In real life, they'll be like slightly transparent netting. Ideally, if this is like Minecraft, it would be like glass or something in here, but I don't have something that skinny. But these are the main netting wires that go across like that. And yeah, it's a pretty simple design, but yeah, it's definitely necessary these days to prevent FPV drones from just like striking your vehicle. Boom. Alright, so then moving in the helicopter section, I actually redesigned the UH-1 Huey for the US Army. Yeah, it's been a long time since I touched the design, so here is what it looks like right now. Updated. It's a lot more accurate now, and yeah, here's the inside. There's some like seats. They also have like these door gunners, like that. And I did make it more accurate with these glass doors hanging on the side instead of a block. Yeah, you can use this like a Vietnam War diorama. And then here's a secondary one with a closed door. You can make Apocalypse Now or any other Forrest Gump, maybe. I don't know. We also have a medevac version of it with the Red Cross on the sides, and there is one at the bottom, although it's just like a white trapdoor like that. Yeah. Alright, then if we go off to the side, we have a new helicopter. This is the UH-1Y Venom, and it's kind of like the successor to the Huey, and it's still used in the present day. This is what it looks like, I believe, by the Marine Corps, and it's in gray, and on the sides, I think these are like rocket pods or something. Here's a bit of interior. Take a look at that. And then in the back, this one just has like the closed doors like so. So it's kind of similar to the Huey, but it's actually a bit different because if you see these exhausts, they split into two, like a Y shape, while the Huey just has one like that. And also, of course, the blades, that's 4 versus 2. We also have a new C-130J Super Hercules, and this is actually the standard one in the previous update. That one was a J30, which has extended fuselage section. So if you compare this one versus this one, you can see in the back, the tail, especially like where this point is. And then the skull, there's a big gap here. But in the regular C-130J, it's like right next to each other. So they did extend that fuselage. But yeah, you can have, the regular C-130. This one's for the Kentucky Air National Guard. That's what I decorated the tail as. But yeah, you can make it whatever one you want. Alright, so next up we have the Krim 2, also known as the Grom, which both of them, they mean thunder. So Krim is Ukrainian, Grom, that's Russian. And there's like a third name, which is called Sapsan, which is a Peregrine Falcon. But yeah, this is like Ukraine's ballistic missile, I believe. It's in development / production, but I'm not quite sure. There's not much information about this. I actually built this mainly off the military parade. So yeah, I got the Ukrainian pixel camo. And then this is what it looks like in transport mode. And this is what it looks like firing. So it's supposed to be a ballistic missile, kind of like the Tosochka. It does have a pretty funky cab, like this window. It's a very interesting design. And then in the anti-air section, we have a new vehicle. This is the TOR M1, M2, and M2U. So there's a couple different ones. There's even the original TOR, because apparently Ukraine, that's what they had before. Or maybe they still have it right now. It's just called the TOR, the 9A330, the original one. And then, yeah, you can see this in the parade in Kiev. So here's what it looks like with the radars down and the radar activated. And these would fire out, missiles for air defense. And then over here, this one is the TOR M1. So yeah, it's a more advanced one. So compared to the original TOR, you can see this part, it's very different. There's like two windows here, while this one's just one window, and then this whole section, I don't know how to explain it. It's a lot of things. The radar at the top kind of looks the same though. And this is what it looks like all around. Oh yeah, it's also longer, so it has one extra wheel in the chassis compared to the old one. So that was one thing I figured out making this TOR. Then this is one with the radars down. And the next one, this is a TOR M2. So yeah, these are specifically going to be the Russian ones. What they use, and you can see the radar, it's kind of like a plate like this instead of like a fence. So yeah, they upgraded the radar and they added like this box here in the back. Maybe it's like an APU or system or something, I don't know. And then behind it, this is just the same thing with the radar down for transport mode. And then next up, we have what I call the tractor loop, because this one was pulled by tractors. Ukrainian farmers just found this, and yeah, I probably will make an animation about it. So this is what it looks like. I think maybe got damaged, or because it's like white or something. And like the hatch on top, this is where they keep the missiles fire out. And then the last one, this is the TOR M2U. Now, the main difference really is just here in the back. They don't have that big box that was here. Like this APU thingy, they just got rid of it. That's like the main difference. But other than that, I think it's pretty much the same as the M2. All right, and then here is the Mirage 2005F fighter jet. So yeah, it's a Dassault design and it's French, but it's in Ukrainian Air Force service. So they recently, acquired these the past year. And yeah, this guy is armed with like Magic 2 missiles. It's used to shoot down like Russian cruise missiles like the KH-101. And then these things on the side, they're just large fuel tanks. And they're painted in like the Ukrainian blue and yellow colors. So yeah, that's pretty iconic. Finally got that squared away. And yeah, of course we got that trizub on the tail. Alright, so another new build is the Tupolev Tu-143. This is a Soviet unmanned aerial drone for reconnaissance. And this one's in Ukrainian Air Force service or Army, I don't know. They've been using this in the war to spy air defense or act as cruise missiles, basically, to just strap bombs to it. So I have two different ones here. So basically this is what it looks like, regular. And then this is the one with the booster here at the bottom. Maybe it drops down, but like initially when it fires out of this tube here, it's going to have that booster that kind of propels it out, and I guess it turns into this. Now, I actually did build the launcher, so these are actually like BAS 135MB, and they just call it the SPU 143. So yeah, I just have it on a diagonal, the missile coming out, or the drone technically coming out like this. And on top, there's actually these covers. So if you look at the back ones, this is the one with the covers, the hatches are closed up, the front and the back. That's for our transport mode. And then this one, it just has it, so it's not a diagonal. So basically the same as that, just flat across like that. Shout out to Needles for getting references for this in Patriot Park. All right, so next up we have the TOS-2 Tosochka. So yeah, this is, I guess, the successor maybe to the TOS-1. They just put it, I think, on a Ural truck. It's a 6x6. And yeah, I do have it with the anti-drone armor. They call it the Mongol for grill. So I have that firing mode, and then this is in transport, and they put like chains here at the back against drones. Then their landing gear down. And then here I just built it, without that Mongol system. Just firing like that. I can't believe I actually built this, but yeah, I just want to get it off the list. Here's what it looks like transport mode. And on the side, there's actually, I think this is like a crane or something, can also deploy out, but I didn't build that one. Alright, so another new build is the MiG-21 fish bed. This is a Cold War aircraft, but this is actually recently used up until now by the Croatian Air Force, but it has since been replaced recently by the Rafale. But yeah, I can't believe that we're like operating these, but when I was building this, it actually seemed pretty cool. So there is a couple different designs. This one in the front's really cool with the red and white checkerboard. It's really a motif of Croatia. This is the MiG-21 UMD Kockica. That's its name. Alright, and then behind it we have the MiG-21 BSD. And then you can see on that tail, we still have that checkerboard, but it's like grayed out kind of. And then behind that, this is like a twin-seater. So it's a UMD, same as the Kockica, but it's like gray. After that, we have a standard Soviet one, Soviet Air Force MiG-21. And yeah, I just feel like they just have chrome livery. And then for the MiG-29, I did add in a single-seater version with the Anti-Mykola paint scheme. Because in the last update, I actually just made it into a twin-seater like this. But of course, you need the single-seater. That's important. Alright, so here in the front, I actually added 2 new tanks. So these are actually the original T-62 Soviet main battle tank, the Iraqi army. I just need to replace the old design. So this is with the new standard. Got some external fuel tanks here in the back. And then behind that, I just have this plain green for the Soviet army. And just looks like this. Nothing mind-blowing. Alright, so this is my development world, World 1, where I work on my stuff. And you can actually download this. I'll leave a link also in the description. So what I've been working here in the yard, I'll just go over briefly. I am going to be making some more MiG-29 designs. So yeah, they just have so many liveries. Like this one, and then this one, it's ex-Azerbaijan or Azeri. Also might make the SMT. Also here's a look at some radars. Hopefully we're going to have this in the airbase. And behind that we have the Leopard 2R. So this is our Finnish mine clearing vehicles. You can see them in Ukraine. I still need to work on the E3 Century and this command plane, the IL-22M. I'm also working on Antonov and 124 Ruslan. This is the 100M used by the Antonov Airlines, and I converted from RIA, but I figured out it's actually much harder than I thought it was. I thought it'd be simple, cut the fuselage, but it's actually a lot of things are different. There's even a sub-variant of this, but look forward to that in the future. I'm also working on some Gansint howitzer, so it's going to be a towed version of it. And then I'm going to have the 2S5 version of it. Also want to have the ZU-23 too, so I've seen this in the air base in Ukraine. Maybe we'll have that for air defense, and also working on an MTLB version of it. I'm also working on an updated AH-1Z Viper, because it does share actually the same, I think it was 80% of the parts with the Venom, so I do want to pair these up together. And here's a look at the Su-47 so far. I also was inspired to make some Soviet bombers. I think it was Poltava Air Base. They have a museum or something. So this is actually the original Tu-22, because before you see the Tu-22M, this is the original, guys. It's quite a different design, although the proportions, they're kind of similar. This one is the KD. And yeah, it's used for, I think, a reconnaissance or something. I also do have the bomber. The Chinese actually use a variant of this, but I'm going to make the old Soviet one. It's called the Tupolev Tu-16 Badger. You might see this in old Soviet clips. I'm also working on the XB-70 Valkyrie. So this is at the Ohio U.S. Air Force Museum. So since I was building all sorts of big things, I was inspired to build this one. Yeah, the main design so far, I just need to keep working on it. And back over there, we also have two 142M. This is used by the Russian Navy for reconnaissance. So yeah, it looks a lot like the 295, but it does have this extra thing here. And like the underbelly, it's gonna be a bit different. You can see this bump here. Still need to figure that out. And over here, this is like Antonov Anti-225 Maria. When it was under Soviet space program, they're carrying the Buran space shuttle. And actually this one, I just got like a NASA space shuttle and just put it on now. I do need to convert it to the Buran, you know, but they are pretty similar. Got the Soviet red flag at the back. I also am working on a Japanese C-130H Hercules. So I just really need to apply the camo. That's pretty much it. And here's the look so far at the AC-130 Ghost Rider, which is going to be our gunship. Still need to work on that. Now if you go past this yard and you go down here, there's actually something else. So this is a Zavod in Kharkiv. So it's pretty famous, known as the tank factory. So it's like the Malyshev tank factory, and it's also the Kharkiv Morozov Design Bureau. I think this is where they were designing their tanks in this building. I don't know. I have yet to figure out, you know, which of the interior of the buildings, because I have pictures of the interior, but I don't know which one building is which. But right outside, you can see this actually in a lot of like YouTube videos of this factory. You know, they have like these tanks outside and they have garage doors like that. And they usually like run tanks along here. And then some people, they're like trespassing. Like back in the day, it was really easy to just like climb the fence. And then no one is guarding this. So like some YouTubers, they're just walking around. But that's also useful because I can use it as a reference. So here we have a bunch of these T64 BVs, and they actually made the angled gun, so it's angled upwards instead of just making it all flat like I usually do, just to make it look a little better. And here I have a tank transporter. And guys, if you guys want to download this world, it is part of World 1. But in the future, I'll probably gonna move it into the military sets map once I, you know, work on this more, because it's very incomplete. And then over here, I'm gonna have like the tank storage area, like graveyard sort of thing, where we have these rusting tanks. I don't know, maybe they're like T-64 tanks. I'm not sure. Maybe they have all different types, but I'm gonna have rusting applied to them so that they're kind of like weathered and stuff like that. And then there's gonna be a garage there, and there also is another shed right here. I think this is where they have tanks here as well. And then there's gonna also be a rail line going that way. And it's interesting, I did figure out like they use this crane to put the tanks on the flat cars. So I'm gonna have this on diagonal. Once I finish this crane up, put it right there or something. And then it's gonna have a locomotive to go along with it, which is right there. I actually did build it. So yeah, here's a look at the cranes carrying a tank. This is how they transport it. I really like the design so far. And then here is the locomotive I'm going to be putting over there. So this is actually TGK2 for the Southern Railway of the Ukrainian Railways. It's the first locomotive in a really long time. That is what it's going to look like. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the update. Hope you guys enjoy, and yeah, if you guys want to support the channel, again, you can become a Patreon. Thanks to over 160 of you guys who became Patrons. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.